So let's go through sort of the iPhone instructions first. And this will be helpful so everyone's on the same page. So there's a first step, basically, which is to add the ability to record your screen. So that's how we capture most of the videos that you're seeing on any video feed or things like that. So it's not built into the app yet. It's just using screen recording as the primary means of which you record. And so to set that up on an iPhone, I'm going to share my iPhone here real quick. There's a few ways to do it. All right, so you guys are seeing my phone. So if I go to, if I go into settings, and then let's double check. Then you go to Control Center. Then you should see more controls down here. And one of those controls is screen recording. So I'll remove it here just so you can see. So you'll see screen recording, and if you click the plus button, that will now add it into your sort of controls menu. And that yeah, that works. So within Control Center, you're going to add in screen recording. And so that way, when you pull down on your screen, you will then see the ability to record, which is this button down here. And if you push and hold, you will then get this dialog, which is going to ask you if you start recording, but the key is to turn the mic on. And that way, anything you say during the screen recording will come through. And so this is actually how I often have an external microphone that's connected to the phone, so I can have a little better audio coming through. And so that's how we accomplish that, or you can do it in post-production. So let me pause there, because I think that's sort of the first step here to getting these going, is knowing how to record first. And if we could sort of go individually through and just make sure everyone is feeling good on this. And then for those that have an Android phone, the process is just a little different, which is that you'll need a separate app to download for screen recording. And the one we suggest is AZ Recorder, but you can get pretty much anything out there. And let me make sure to share this document with you. I think it's public. Yes. So I'll put this doc in the chat window. All right. So let me just kind of go through here real quick. So if I start with Ryan, Ryan, how are things going for you, or are you set up on your phone?
I'm not yet set up on my phone.
Good. So, and do you have an iPhone or a Android device?
Yeah, I have an iPhone.
iPhone? Okay. So I put the instructions here in the chat window if you want to follow along there, or I'm happy to walk you through some of or basically the enabling screen recording.
Oh yeah, I've got that going.
Oh, you got that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Cool. And let's see, Natasha, that's all right. Were you able to download, or do you have an iPhone as well?
Yeah. I've got my recording on, so that's fine.
And Katie, how are things for you?
I got it.
Cool. All right. And that's JG.
Yeah, I'm good.
All good? Okay. Eric?
Yep, good.
Good. And Ed and Ruben, you guys good? You said it's a yes. Okay. So let's actually go through a process of recording. And we're going to do one not in AR mode, because I think that's actually the easiest to do. And then after that one, we'll do one actually in AR mode, and we can talk through some of the complications of how to do this successfully. So to do this, I'm going to mirror my screen again. All right, great. So you can go to basically any browser here. So I'm going to use Safari on my iPhone. And so you can either log in, or if you're not logged in, you can still get access to all of the featured flows here. These will work fine. And so with this, let me just use, I'll do this one. And so if I push play, it's going to start to load. And as it's loading, I'm going to pull down my menu and start recording. So once I start recording with the microphone on, I can't do this while AirPlay is on, but if you can imagine me pushing the start recording, once that starts, there's a little red dot that shows up in the top right-hand corner. I can then hit this icon to make it go full screen on Android. It has to stay like this, unfortunately, on iOS, unless you go into AR mode, but you can always crop this later. And so essentially I can go through this as I normally do, talk through it. I can click on dots to pull up additional information and talk through the contents. And this is, you know, one of the, so looking at every tweet that Donald Trump posted since 2017 up until, I don't think it's up until when he got banned. It was a different time, but you can see it's based on the number of likes is the vertical axis here. And you can actually pull in the actual tweet itself. And I can show you guys how we built that. And so if I hit next, I'm going to start to flow through this, and I could be talking about the content as I, you know, click on random dots here. And this was one story related to more specifically how, you know, especially the last tweets he's posted, is it, you know, Schadenfreude, because what his most popular post ever was when he got COVID here, when him and First Lady were tested positive. And so anyways, so that's just one story and how we present it. But hopefully that makes sense in terms of a pretty basic, you know, screen record and go through that way. So let me pause there and see if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, I would encourage everyone to try to do a quick recording that way and just see how that works for you. I think that's actually one of the best ways to do it, is to do the screen recording, and then you can add your, you know, you can do a sort of a green screen background with your face in it if you want to talk through it that way, or just do the audio that way. But I found that to be the easiest way to create a flow or to record a flow and get it out there in a pretty impactful way. So let me pause there and get you guys' your take.
So essentially you're just adding your own voice over the flow as you move it around and play with it.
Mm-hmm. Correct, yep. And I'll mention it, but it's not sort of a hidden feature within Advanced, but you can actually add narration to all flows as well, so that when you get to a step, it starts narration, so you can record your voice prior and actually have it narrate through the flow itself if you'd like to have it go that way too. But yeah, it's just adding that narrative or the audio overlay, basically. That's exactly what it's doing. Cool. So
Michael,
let's take this one step further here and maybe jump into AR. Tyler, did you have a question?
yeah, I was just curious if you ever tried to do it with a tablet or an iPad or something like that.
I have,
it works the
yes. And that worked really well too. Definitely the newer the device, the better in terms of performance, especially for AR mode. Yeah, on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, it's just unreal, the AR mode with LiDAR. Like everything stays perfectly where it should be, and it's fast in performance, but you know, yeah. So it definitely, the newer the device, the better in terms of especially AR mode. But it runs pretty smooth on phones and tablets. The additional screen resolution you get with tablets seems minimal. The one thing I will note here, and this is something I've only more recently figured out, is that I actually use a different app now on my phone called Recgo. There's a bunch of other ones you can use, but the only reason I use this one is, I'll show this screen. is that you can record in a higher quality for audio and the video, which is important to me. And so this is RecGo, and it also allows me to keep my files, my tries recording, in here basically, which is helpful. And this was me attempting to, or me doing a recording in VR. So we can cover that a little bit, but the fact that this works where you're in a headset able to present is also, part of this. And so we'll cover that here next. Yeah, so anyways, just some additional tips there. Great.
And then Michael?
Yep.
So I think when you're recording just on your phone, I think it only captures audio on your device and not through your microphone. So like if you're talking, at least in my experience, it doesn't pick up that audio.
It will. The trick is that when you're in great. So when you record, if you just tap the record button like this, yes, it will not capture your audio. It's just going to capture the device audio. If you push and hold, though, you need to turn the microphone on with this button. And the same is true for the other apps as well. So you can actually pick up the microphone, and you can use an external microphone with that as well. So yeah, that's sort of the trick there. Cool. All right, so now let's get a little more complicated here, and actually dive into a flow where we're going to do AR mode. And we're going to do AR mode two different ways. One way is just the direct recording, where I'm just going to place it in my scene and talk through it and walk through it. And then the other way is where I have another phone that's actually recording me walk through it. And so let me just dive into that, and then I'll pass it over to you guys to actually start with this as well. So first off, I'm going to need to open this in WebXR Viewer, not Safari, in order for it to be able to go into AR mode. But after loading this, all I need to do is hit the AR button, and then this will allow me to place the content in my room. And obviously, I'm not putting it in the best spot here because you're seeing me in my closet. But basically, I can tell a story and walk through it and record this way. And I think this is sort of the second easiest way to present on your phone. I think the first way is super easy, and you don't have to walk around your space, but this is pretty powerful in terms of being able to show the AR aspect of everything. Now, the one trick is the recenter button. So when I hit recenter, it essentially is able to recenter the origin, the 000 mark of the scene. And so anytime you're placing that 000, essentially what you're doing is, like recentering all the content around you. So we don't have the ability to like pinch and zoom to move it around, but instead that's the main mechanic. So you want to try to get it in the right spot or where you want to present it or where it fits the most. Yeah, let me pause there and just make sure people are on the same page in terms of being able to get into AR mode. Because I know that might take just a little bit more time. And for Natasha, there is the WebXR viewer that you're going to need to download for any iPhone. So let me pause there and see where people are. Let's see some people moving around. Okay. Now, figure out it. Okay. So was that working for people? Are you able to to set your AR scene in the room, because this next part's going to be just a little trickier, and we're actually going to all do it together, where we can be in the same meeting. And that will show you that. Actually, I'll do this one. Okay. So let me move to this next part here, which is, okay, so now let's actually try to do a video where you can see the person presenting in what my wife calls sort of the AR weatherman view, which is like you see the other person and they're able to walk you through the contents and you can see them in the scene. Now this is definitely going to require the most patience and the most trial and error, I would say. But the mechanics are very similar to what you just did, which is you're still going to use that screen recording button. You're still going to record audio either during it or maybe in posts or with an external microphone. But what you're going to do first is create a meeting. And you can do that a multitude of ways. The easiest way is once you're actually in the visualization itself, you can basically just click this share or start a meeting button and then click on start/share a meeting, which will then update the URL. So this is now a live meeting. And so with this live meeting, we can actually go into AR mode by just scanning this QR code on any of our devices. And so you're going to want to make sure you're logged in on the device that you're on. And so I will open this guy up. Yeah, I'll share my screen so you can see. Actually, no, I'll keep this screen showing. And I'll explain why in a second. So yes, great. See people jumping in here. So I'll keep this up. And you'll see that on my screen here, I realize I don't have it.
Hey, Michael, really quick. I'm sorry to go back here. Can you just show
Yeah.
me exactly how you're generating that QR code again? I feel like that's different in this new version, or for some
Yes.
reason I had a harder time finding it in my last demo. And
Okay.
I apologize for being
No.
slow on it.
No, good question. So it's this this button now. It used to be in the lower left, but it was like an invite button. But now it's part of this dialog. So you click on this little share/start meeting button.
Okay.
And that will open up this dialog, and then you click start share meeting, and that's how you're going to get
And then
it.
that's how you get this. So if you're doing the whole on a Zoom call and you want people to scan, you're going to get into a flow while you're logged in. Then you're going to hit that new menu button in the upper right-hand corner. That will then allow you to share, and then you get the QR generated. Thank you very much.
Yep, absolutely. And there is one other way to do it, just so you're aware. So if for whatever reason that's not working or it's missing, that from the flow menu itself, which you're seeing here, you can click on Meet instead, and then actually create a room manually here, and then join it, share it, all of that. So,
And if you
so
hit
that's the
share,
other way you can do
if
it.
you hit share there, you'll get the QR.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, great. Thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's actually, what we're going to do is pretend that this screen you're seeing right here is another phone in AR mode, because that's essentially what it is acting like. And so that when I go into AR mode, and I will do that right now, share my screen so you can see it.